Yeah, 我们待会儿我们 SharePoint 的 teacher already come here. We may ask our SharePoint teacher say something about the SharePoint class. Are you ready? Yeah. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, now we can give time to our SharePoint teacher. Do you have anything you want to show us, or you want just a talk?
For this time, we will just talk.
Okay.
And in actual class, we'll share the screens and my VM as well.
Okay.
So hello, folks. Hope you are doing good this evening. I'm your SharePoint teacher. I have been giving a SharePoint training since 2007. I'm working as a SharePoint consultant in a big financial client as well. Let me tell you something about my technical career. I have more than 12 years of experience in Microsoft technology, extensive experience in SharePoint, almost all the versions, SharePoint 2007, 2010, 2013, very good experience in ASP.NET, C#, SQL Server, and working on a client-side programming as well, like in a JavaScript, jQuery, AngularJS. Now let's talk about SharePoint a little bit more. So learning SharePoint is majorly divided in 5 parts. So let's say if we talk about part 1, that is fundamental, that we'll use for site administrator, power user. Second part is administrator, that is kind of enterprise content management, how you can manage the content, that is especially for project manager. Third portion is a system administrator. So system administrators like installing the servers, installing the SharePoint, configuring the SharePoint. There are so many other components like search, user profile, farm topology. There are so many concepts covered in the system administrator. Fourth one is a pure development. So kind of SharePoint API development, developing any web page, any web part, any app part in Visual Studio 2012 or 2013, whatever the VS available, covered app development as well as the deployment. And the last fifth portion is the business intelligence. That is kind of used for business user, power user, architecture, or administrator. That will cover all the BI component like Excel service with Power Pivot, reporting service, performance point service, visual graphics, business data connectivity, like that way. So these are the 5 major part for learning SharePoint. So if you want me to go in detail, like high level in detail for each and every parts, or you just find for time being and we'll cover once we start the actual training?
Yeah, should be okay at this moment. So are you going to cover all the 5 points, major points in your class, or you will focus on some of them? What will be the scope of your training class?
Yeah, so it is not possible to cover each and every part because these are the major part, but I'll cover fundamental stuff, I'll cover business intelligence stuff, I'll cover little development and content management. So most of the stuff like that will help you in your job, in your career. So to understand what is SharePoint and how SharePoint works.
Okay. I am a new student. I know nothing about SharePoint. Can you tell me what SharePoint is and how that will benefit my work as a database analyst? I know BI, I know Microsoft BI, I know SSIS, ASRS, I also know SQL Server. So I'm looking for a targeting job as a database analyst, either load data or generate a report. After generating a report, I may need display or put my report into SharePoint system. What is that, and how this class will benefit my career as a business analyst? Can you, teacher, say something or talk something about this? Yeah, this field.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So let's talk about first what is SharePoint. SharePoint is like, I mean, if we say in a simple word, SharePoint is a web-based application where you can use it as a secure place to store, organize, share, and access the information from almost any device. All you need is a web browser such as Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome. Now, SharePoint has different template like team site, like publishing portal, like my site. Now, we'll talk more about this template later, but your point is how it is beneficial if you are coming from as a business analyst or if you are good in database side. So there are, like I said, for a business intelligence portion, I mean, there are so many components available in SharePoint. First major component is a business data connectivity, and that is called BCS, Business Connectivity Service. That connectivity, with that service, you can connect any external LOB, line of business, to the SharePoint. Let's say, for example, you have your own database. If you want to display the data on SharePoint portal, with the BCS service, you can display the data on SharePoint. It is not displaying the data. You can write your own procedures in your SQL and displaying on the SharePoint. It allows all CRUD operation: create, update, read, and delete. That is just a high level of business data connectivity. You can connect not only MySQL, not only MS SQL, you can connect MySQL, you can connect Oracle, you can connect any other database in the SharePoint. That is number one. Number two, Excel service. So let's say you have some formulas in Excel service. With the service, with the Excel service, you can publish your Excel service, you can publish your function, you can publish your method to the Excel, so a business user can use that spreadsheet for generate the report. Fourth one, reporting service and performance point service. Whatever you are saying, SSRS, SSIS, whatever the reports you are using in a SQL, you need to just publish that reports to SharePoint, and there are so many functionality out of box available in SharePoint to for the end user to see as a dashboard. Like you can check the report, you can use KPI functionality. There are so many other stuff available in the SharePoint for especially for that SQL reports, whatever you are generating. So for a business intelligence perspective, there are major five components available: Excel service with the Power Pivot, reporting service, performance point service, visual graphic service, and the last one is BCS service. This is just high level information about BI. We'll cover more on the class. Like I'll go one by one each and every topic in detail about the BI stuff, so you know what exactly these services are and how these services works in a SharePoint related with your SQL server.
Okay. Yeah, very good, very clear. Thank you so much. So any students, have any question, about SharePoint class, please ask. Go ahead.
Okay, I have a question.
Good
After
evening,
we
sir.
finish your lesson, what level will you think we will be? How how much what level can we say we are after we're done with your training?
Yeah, how much money can they earn?
Yes, after 6 session, mostly you will up to fundamental of the SharePoint. That is very important. Like whenever you want to talk, you need a fundamental stuff in your mind. I mean, you know the fundamental stuff. So you will be very clear about your fundamental knowledge. You will clear at very high level about development. You will clear high level at content management, and you are very expert in BI level as well. Because I'll more focus on fundamental and BI stuff, business intelligence stuff. I heard like you guys are little advanced in a SQL side, database side. So I'll cover that topic in detail and fundamental, and I'll keep like administrator stuff and all this stuff. I'll give you each and every information. I mean, we'll cover each and every topic, but I'll keep my focus more on fundamental and BI stuff.
Okay, keep your focus more on fundamental and BI.
Do you think we can find this?
Yeah, go ahead.
If the company asks for SharePoint, kind of SharePoint administrator, can we do that after this class?
Yeah, definitely.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Because I saw like a SharePoint, a job available on the market, and my question is like, what's the difference between SharePoint developer and the SharePoint administrator?
And the user, and the regular BI.
Yeah, and the user.
Okay.
Okay, very good question. Actually, developer, administrator, and whatever the user you are saying, that is called power user. Now, let's talk about power user first. Power user is a user, it's kind of system user who is responsible for creating list and library, kind of UI stuff. That is their responsibility. Developer job is open a Visual Studio 2012 or 2013, whatever is available. Do a coding in C#, ASP.NET, developing a web part, app part, workflow, and deploy that stuff on a SharePoint environment. That is developer job. Now, system administrator job. System administrator job is like installing the server, server 2012, like then SharePoint server, installing SharePoint server, and there is one more concept called PowerShell. So PowerShell is kind of system administrator scripting language where it's like you heard about
Shell
file,
script,
right?
Yeah,
correct.
Linux, we just teach the Oracle 12c, the Linux shell script. So same as that, yeah.
Same as shell script. I mean, shell script and PowerShell, there is no much difference. I mean, most of the functions like grep, then I don't know much about the shell script, but PowerShell is more like shell scripting. But it is, you have to run that script on the server. You cannot run that PowerShell script remotely. Like, let's say if if I run PowerShell script from my local desktop and the resource is available on another server, it's not possible. You have to have run that PowerShell scripting on the server where the SharePoint is installed. So this kind of stuff like installations, configurations at a server level, there is a part of system administrator. Configurations of list, library, data, that is a part of the power user, and developing any piece of code, any part, any web part, that is a job of the developer. Now, whenever you are applying a SharePoint job, for example, in a requirement, they clearly mention this requirement is for the development, this requirement is for the power user, this requirement is for the system administrator, this requirement is for the BI expert. So, you know, you can get exact idea where exactly you want to go.
Okay, so after learning your class, you know, finish everything, and do you think we could like apply, you know, developer and administrator both?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so do you have some like, you know, practice or like, you know, exercise, you know, after class or?
Yeah, does the class including any lab, any, you know, project? So
Homework.
yeah, allow students to do so after each class.
Each and every class, I'll give you a lab exercise, okay, that you can perform by yourself. And if you have any question, any query regarding that lab exercise, we'll cover in the next session. I mean, beginning of couple of minutes, like 30 minutes or 45 minutes, we're gonna solve whatever the issue you are facing for that lab exercise, and we'll resume our next session.
Okay.
So I have a little doubt about that, this class, but this, for example, you said that after taking this class, we could apply for the SharePoint developer. But the requirement I see that there's some C#, ASP.NET. All this language actually we do not know very much. We know a little bit, being as learn a little bit of knowledge. But what do you mean that you're gonna just show some necessary script of this C# or ASP or .NET but I know that it's hard to understand that to learn all of this language as a whole, or just necessary part to apply for this kind of a SharePoint developer.
Correct. So if you want to go, let's say for example, for a development, you have to have knowledge about C#, ASP.NET. Okay. So in this class, I'll start with the development overview. So that will cover the basic functionality of C#, ASP.NET. Second portion is SharePoint APIs. So whatever the APIs are available in SharePoint, I'll tell you whatever the APIs are available, what are the components are available, what methods you have to use to develop any kind of component. I'll give you guidelines. And once we are done with the development session, development class, I'll give you some example, some lab exercise where you can explore yourself. For a development perspective, you have to do a very hard work as a homework, because C#, ASP.NET is little new for you, and that is kind of language you are learning. So it's like, you know, whenever you are going to school and you are learning a new language, the same kind. I'll give you the direction, I'll give you the example, and I'll help you to solve your queries over there.
All right, thank you. I know that it's going to take a lot of time, but we need guidance to how to learn that at home. All right, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, basically the class will show you some fundamental C# definition class, you know, method, and then give you some API, application programming interface. You know how to call this kind of API to make your goal from SharePoint side. So after you get all this kind of sample code, you can easily adopt or deploy it to your system. You know how to start with. I think that's the point. Okay, any other question? Please.
I have a question. You mentioned the class will cover all BI components and the report service, SSRS, and something like this, publish report to SharePoint, and also will be expert in BI area. does it mean SharePoint is higher level of BI?
No.
No, SharePoint is a platform. You can show your BI result on that platform. Use that as a media to publish your result on internet. You know, SSRS report you can only publish on Windows system. In order to show that result on company's intranet or internet, you have to use SharePoint.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
One more question. Are you going to talk about the configuration and support the BCS? Because I saw some job descriptions they mentioned this must have.
You are saying about business
yeah,
data.
business connection service.
All right. So for that topic, I'll tell you how you can make a connection between your SharePoint and external LOB, line of business, how you can use different function to manipulate that LOB, as well as how you can generate the report, how you can display the data over the SharePoint.
Okay.
If you want to go, because that topic is in very depth. I mean, if you want to cover BCS in detail, I believe 10 sessions is also less.
Yeah, I know. But at least we could know, where to go.
Okay,
right?
you guys a student. You can open a 10-session BCS class. And
you can have advanced class after that.
You already have a student. Okay.
That is also applicable for the development. I mean, development, if you go in detail, there are so many components, involved in the development, like app part development. Right now, there are different app development available. I mean, SharePoint app, provider hosted app, cloud hosted app. There are so many stuffs are covered under. But if I go at that direction, I mean, time doesn't allow me to go in that much of detail.
Sure.
Let's say if you are more interested in development in detail, I'll go one by one, like look how to develop app, how to develop web part, how to develop custom workflow, like that component. I mean, I can go, but for that kind of exercise, we need more time.
Okay. And so after we learn your class, finish everything, and so what do you think? Like just another student asked, how many years would be like we could get the experience?
Good question. Actually, I'll tell you one story. In 2007, 2006, when SharePoint the version 2007 launch, in my resume I said like I have around 6 to 7 years experience in SharePoint. At that time I didn't know that much of the SharePoint, but I know the fundamental stuff about SharePoint. I mean, what is SharePoint, how SharePoint works. But still, if you are confident, you can market yourself very quickly. Not a problem. The main point is you should be clear about how SharePoint works and what is SharePoint. That's it.
Okay, so what do you think? It's like at least we should get like how many years would be a marketable skills for the SharePoint?
What do you mean?
It's like you have to at least get like 3 years experience, and then you could they would
No, it depends. Yeah, some company may hire people less than, some company may hire more. It's totally case by case, depends. So, okay, the teacher, you answered many good questions. Thank you. The student, majority of them, again, come from a database analyst background or target in mind. So, after gaining SharePoint skills from your class, and will this benefit their job search, target the database analyst, or with SharePoint, and how will that benefit? Can you talk more about this? Give some example if you have.
So for example, okay, SharePoint is more about searching the data, displaying the data on the web page. So I'll give you two live example. I work for Continental Airlines, okay, in 2008, 2009, okay, as a SharePoint consultant. Over there, like, we were using a publishing portal. Publishing portal is kind of different template. I mean, I said whenever we start, like, there are major three templates: publishing portal, team site, and the my site. So for Continental Airlines, we use publishing portal. So these are just, I'm just giving one high level example. Let's say there are so many promotions going on, there are so many stuffs going on for the airlines, there are pricings change in the any of the route. So whenever there is a change, minor change, I mean, we don't need to make any web page change. I mean, go to that HTML page, go to that ASPX page. We don't need to go to that level. We have list and library in the SharePoint where you have to manipulate the data over there, you have to manipulate the text over there. Now, list and library is a SharePoint, you can say SharePoint database. Whatever you are storing in a list or library, that under the line, that will store in your SQL server. Now, once you are done with, let's say, after a year or after 6 months, CEO or any high-level personality wants kind of reports like how many promotions we did for this fair, for this promotion. So that kind of report you can generate through your reporting services. So that you will come in a picture. And reporting services main right now, it's a era of machine learning language and all this stuff, right, where the data is very important. Everyone's looking for the data, the report. So that kind of stuff you can use, you can develop reporting service and display on the dashboard. That is number one scenario. Second, I work for audit firm, okay, as a SharePoint consultant again, and over there, like, it is based on the search, okay. So let's say if any of the consultant, that audit consultant, goes to the big client and they need some kind of data related to that firm problem, okay, they are just typing that problem and data is coming. I mean, they'll search for the keyword and all the data stored on the list and library, they'll show up in a proper way. So I mean, they'll get the similar kind of case studies. So that auditor can, give, auditor or advisor can give a perfect information, a good information to the end client. Same stuff, like, even over there also reporting service, like, you can get the report, you can display the report as a dashboard. It's called content dashboard, CDB. Content dashboard, get the data and you can display on the page. So there are so many stuffs. I mean it is very hard to explain in a 2 or 5 minutes. I mean, once you are in, you'll know more about how that BI component works in SharePoint. What is, if you are not clear about what is list and library, what is web, what are the templates available in SharePoint, I mean, you will get confused. I mean, if I say this way, but I mean, I can understand, like, it is not easy to understand the stuff.
Sure, understand. Okay, yeah, thanks for the explanation. Now let's go back to last 3 or 5 minutes. Tell us more about yourself. So what kind of industry have you worked on for Use SharePoint? You have 12.
All right.
Yeah, what kind of industry? Just tell us industry, because we have students come from different industry. Yeah.
I'm coming only from the finance industry. I never work other than the finance industry. Right now I'm working as a SharePoint consultant in a big financial domain.
For financial, I see. But you also mentioned you work for the Continental Airline, right?
It's beginning, I mean, 2006, 2007.
Oh.
After 2007, I started working on 2 big financial firms.
Oh, financial. I see. Okay. So any other question? Please ask. Go ahead.
One more question. That as far as I know, that SharePoint is a web-based service and software. I'm just wondering that in your class, that are we the student able to download some similar working environment and practice what you are going to teach that in the class? So if not, it better not just the knowledge. It's better that
No.
the student to
Yeah, I can answer that question. I know what you are asking. Similar with all of our class, we will teach you from how to do installation, how to install SharePoint and different version, different system. So student can do some real hands-on work. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
It's like, could you tell us about the market, like the salary range, the lifestyle as a SharePoint developer or like administrator? Hello?
Salary, I mean, if you talk about the salary perks, like it's depend upon your personality. Let's say, for example, you are working as a expert SharePoint consultant. I mean, you will get near to $80 to $100 per hour.
$80
Let's say if you are
$80 to $100 per hour.
Yeah.
So you mean like most job would be like a contract?
Consulting, yeah. Consulting.
Listen, I mean, it's depend person to person. I don't want a full-time job. I'm more happy with my consulting job because there are so many advantages. Like if you go with the full-time job, I mean, you'll get 120, 130K. But
even only like a three years experience.
3 years, 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Depend. I mean, it's depend upon the client.
Okay. So how about the lifestyle?
How about the lifestyle? Means you're talking about the work.
Yeah, work lifestyle. Work lifestyle. It's like a very stressful. Like everybody's coming to you. Find a solution. Like
Nah, it's not like it is. I mean,
it's like a very challenging something.
Initially, you can find some kind of challenges, but it's fun.
Okay.
Once you are
okay,
into the system, then it is fun. Seriously,
okay.
I'm telling you.
Probably just like other administrative.
I have a question. Is when you teach the live class, can you use the notepad or something? Put the like the keyword or some very technical word or new word, tap in there, and it's easier for us to catch on because there's so many words new for me, or I guess for most of us. So it's hard to understand. Is that possible? You can tap some.
Oh, of course. No.
Teach.
Yeah, the teacher will prepare the PowerPoint file. Yeah, material.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just would. Yeah. I mean, if he can tap a little when he talk.
Come on,
tap a little bit.
No. That's too easy for him. That's an easy job to tap. We want him to teach more, not only tap. But don't worry. Yeah, don't worry.
I know. I mean, on the way when he talk, he can put. He think more. What is important to put some notes there. Easy for us to put notes also.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. I'll put all the technical jargon in the PowerPoint, and if need more information about the technical jargon, I'll include that as well. Don't worry.
Okay. That's good. And I saw a word called System Development Life, SDL. I forgot the last letter.
SDLC.
System Development Life Cycle.
SDLC.
Yeah, SDLC.
What is that about?
No, stop.
So what's the difference?
No, stop. This is not a topic for this class. That's too simple. No. Yeah, too simple to ask. Not for the SharePoint. For every software development. Okay, another question.
Yeah.
Another question. I don't want to waste the teacher's time, and we have to run more efficiently. You can ask any question about SharePoint. Okay.
Sir?
Go ahead.
I have a question. You mentioned so SharePoint we also can do reporting. So I would like to know what's the difference between reporting through SharePoint and SSRS.
Reporting through, okay, SharePoint is not a reporting tool. SharePoint is a platform. So you develop a SSRS report, then you show the result on SharePoint BI service to show your SSRS report. Get it?
Okay. If we don't use SharePoint, we use other platform or something
You can.
to deliver reports.
Yes,
okay.
you
So
can.
what's the difference between use SharePoint and other platform?
Okay, this is a good question. There are different ways. You can show the result on the internet, use reporting service URL directly, or you can integrate with your SharePoint service of SSRS as a part of the intranet. Okay, teacher, you can explain more if you want.
Yeah. So whatever you said, like.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's right. I mean, you can either use, even you can display your SSRS report in a plain ASP.NET application as well. But let's say if end user or if client wants to leverage SharePoint functionality, that's for example, if client wants to integrate SharePoint workflow, engage SharePoint workflow, enable the content type of any of the reports, then in that case it is not possible outside of the SharePoint environment. You have to go with the SharePoint environment. Let's say your whole environment is in a SharePoint. I mean, let's say for example, my client right now, everything is on the SharePoint and they have SSRS report, but they can't use any other system than SharePoint, because if they use another system, they has to integrate that system into the SharePoint. So better they import whatever the report generated through a SQL directly to the SharePoint and use all the existing functionality and existing functionality with that report.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we'll talk more in the class. Okay, any question? Just you want to know about the class. Last two questions we finish. Okay.
Okay, so what's the SharePoint solutions?
SharePoint solution is called WSP file. That is called Web Solution Project file, and that file contains .xml file, manifest XML file, your resources like DLL, compiled file. So everything is bundled in one single file called WSP file. That is called solution, SharePoint solution file.
So are you gonna talking about this? Because in the job description they said you have to get that kind. You should know like how to design, develop, testing, implementation, and training of selected SharePoint solution.
Correct. So I'll in a class I'll tell you like how to develop, how to create a features, how to develop that part. Now everything is, let's say for example, I'll give you a simple example. You develop some component, okay, using a Visual Studio. Now how are you gonna deploy that stuff on SharePoint? There is a way to deploy that stuff on a SharePoint environment. So first you have to create a WSP file, SharePoint solution file, and there are steps to deploy that solution file to the SharePoint. So I'll cover that stuff in development overview portion.
Okay. Okay, last question.
Yeah, one quick question. That how many that SharePoint developer or SharePoint administrator position in the market as compared to BI developer and data analyst, such as a 100 data analyst, maybe very.
One administrator. Administrator always less. Yeah, user, every user, that number is more. So, okay. Go ahead.
Okay, let me give the answer about that one. It's depend. I mean, SharePoint jobs, let's say if you are talking about New York City, if you're talking about, I mean, New York, or if you're talking about California, there are so many jobs available in that area. There are jobs available in other regions like Texas, Georgia, Chicago, Illinois. But if you compared with the New York City, if you compared San Francisco or other big city, I mean, you can find more job. I mean, dice.com is a main site where you can put your keyword and you will get the response.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, any more questions?
Did SharePoint support the Tableau report?
Can the Tableau report, can the Tableau report deploy on the SharePoint service, on SharePoint platform? Have you ever used Tableau report integrated with SharePoint?
I never heard about that one, but I'll search for you.
Okay. Tableau. Okay, here is a Tableau. Yeah, okay, Tableau is a visualization tool. So probably like Microsoft does not like that. So they're competitor. Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'll do a research on this one. Don't
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Answered all the questions. So okay. Last question. I'm not sure should I ask or not. So okay. Never mind. It's okay. I just want to ask. Have you ever heard a river named Hunga? No?
Your name Hunga.
Yeah, river, the Holy River Hunga.
No, I never heard about this one.
Come on.
About
Okay, you are not come from India. If you come from India, you know when people grow up, have to go to that holy river, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. So. Okay, thank you very much. Really enjoyed your questions and answers. We're looking forward to student, register class. The class will start in morning, just 4 days from today. So, yeah. Okay, thank you, teacher. And you can stay, or if you want to stay, you can stay, or you can take offline. Really appreciate you.
No, yeah, it's a late night. I'm going.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
老老师
Bye.
I think you 老师那个是礼拜一开课吗？早上。
礼拜天 Sunday.
Sunday 我听了
Sorry, not Monday, Sunday. Yeah. Okay, thank you for the teacher. 好，那我们这个我们的文学妹妹回来了哈，艺术妹妹回来了。那你有什么问题要问她的？刚才这位问你的英语怎么会 gain skill 那么快？那
对，
大家一下 ，Yeah。
好的，不好意思，因为我刚才正好电话，然后就是想跟这位同学分享一下吧，因为我这1年的时间学英语，我自己就是我觉得从几个方面吧，一个是语法，然后一个是阅读和听和说，写的方面可能相对来说还少一些。语法方面的话，我自己有在